Well, jeepers! You're listening to Smash or Pass.
Hi everyone, welcome to another video on the JayBee
Hello.
and Millie channel. We are as always joined by Rhianna.
Hi.
And today we have the absolute pleasure of speaking with Samantha De Benedet.
Hello.
So thank you so much for joining us today. People watching this will probably know that you are currently touring for Scooby-Doo on the Lost City of Gold as Daphne. And I suppose to kick this off, just to dive into a bit of your background, you also do movies such as A Storybook Christmas. How does a project like that compare with performing live on stage?
Oh, it's so different being in a film versus being on stage. And this is something that I struggle with because you have to be really small on camera. Everything has to be really subtle. And I'm more of a musical theater song and dance, like perform to the back row kind of gal. So every time that I've been in a film, usually the direction is to just bring everything down a whole lot. And yes, so I would say that's maybe one of the main differences is that everything is so subtle and the camera just picks up everything, whereas on stage, you want to be performing to the back row and really expressive. So that would be that.
that makes perfect sense. I can only imagine how much of a stark contrast it must be, given that by nature it's just such a different medium. But in terms of acting in general, how long did you know that you wanted to be an actor for?
Well, I was kind of a bit of a late bloomer in actually getting started in acting, but I always knew it was what I wanted to do ever since I was a kid. My favorite pastime with my friends was writing scripts, and we would take my mom's camera, her camcorder, and we would film little movies, and we would make cooking shows, and I would also, be choreographing little dances, and we'd be putting them on in the basement, and I'd be making, the program, and that was, always having my family come down. So it was always, I knew that that's what I wanted to do, but my family, my mom and dad weren't really artists. And so they just thought I was strange. They didn't see that's a theater kid, put her in theater. And so I always knew that it was what I wanted to do, but I didn't get really started until later, until my 20s. So it's kind of a late bloomer, but I always knew it's what I wanted to do.
It's amazing that you knew that from such an early age. And were there ever any kind of actors or performers that inspired you, whose work you wanted to recreate or just be like in similar roles?
Yeah, I always loved Julie Andrews. And yes, we all agree. Julie Andrews. Yes, so that's why one of my dream roles was to be Mary Poppins, and I would love to play that again, and also The Sound of Music. And so yeah, Julie Andrews was for sure early on someone who I really looked up to and wanted to play some of her roles that she played.
That's incredible. And like you say, to then be able to go on and do roles like Mary Poppins and going on to do Grease, Hairspray as well. What was it like working on projects like that?
Well, Mary Poppins was obviously a dream come true because that was, like I said, Julie Andrews was such an inspiration for me, and Mary Poppins was one of my dream roles, and I got to fly. So that was very special. Every actor dreams of flying. And so that was really great. And then Hairspray was actually one of my first times having a lead role with lines and solo songs. So that was a really special show that I always hold very dear to my heart. And I got to play Penny Pingleton, which is just such a fun role. And in Hairspray, we had such a lovely cast dynamic. I remember that. And yeah, so they were all special in their own way, really. And Grease is so iconic, right? Like you gotta be in Grease at some point. So I was really lucky to be able to be one of the Pink Ladies, Marty Maraschino, and yeah, they were all really great and special in their own way. And obviously, I love singing and dancing, so and I love musicals. So anytime I can be in one, it's always a pleasure.
Oh wow, that's so amazing, because you know, musicals, they're also like one of my favorite genres, and I love the fact that you've managed to play Mary Poppins, because as like Julie Andrews is incredible, and you do, like when you came on, I was like, I got the Mary Poppins vibes.
Stop.
I did. It was like the undertone. I was like, I was just waiting for you to like bust out into like a spoonful of sugar or something.
You don't have to twist my arm very far.
So
I love that you thought that. Thank you. That's such an honor. But my British accent, I don't know how good it was, but I tried really hard. And I would be shy to do it for you all because you're British. But my boyfriend's British and he helped me a lot with my accent.
So with a lot of your credits being musicals, is that a genre that you are particularly drawn to, or other types of shows that you would much rather like be involved in, or like try out with styles and stuff?
I would say I'm definitely drawn to being in musicals. I would maybe be interested in trying a straight play, but if I'm honest, every time I see a play, I think, when are they going to start singing and dancing? That's what I always think. So I'm definitely more drawn to musicals, but it's also been really cool to be experimenting with being in films and um, so yeah, maybe more films and musical theater is my preferred genres, definitely.
That makes a lot of sense, and it must also help with like Scooby-Doo and the Lost City of Gold, because there's singing and there's dancing. And is there a show that you're currently aware of that you would love to be part of?
Well, I would like to be. Do you mean that's currently going on, or just like if I could be in any show, what show would I want to be in?
Anything.
Well, one day I'd really like to be in Chicago. I think that would be really fun to be either Roxy or Velma Kelly, the girl who plays Velma in Scooby-Doo, who you interviewed, Alicia. We talk about how it would be fun if we both were Velma and Roxy together. So that's definitely a show that I would love to be in one day. And probably The Sound of Music as well. Do the next Julie Andrews, you know, those two shows, I think.
That's awesome, and I just like the range that you're talking about there is just amazing. How you can sing, you can do different accents, and I guess one of the parts that I've been like, because I never realized what came into it. You know, the Scooby Live show is the first production that I've followed religiously, so to speak. So I've seen like different posts from various cast members that have just been traveling so much, and it's like every time I went on someone's story, there was a bus journey, a plane journey, and it just seemed like a lot of fun. But also with that amount of traveling, is that something that you enjoy, or would you rather, I guess, be stuck into one theater?
Well, it's really been so great, mainly because the cast we all get along so well. So we just have the best time together, even in the 15-hour bus journeys or the multiple flights in a day, layovers. We're always just having a blast. Like, we get along so well. So that definitely makes it more enjoyable. As far as traveling with this production, currently we haven't been able to really visit much of the places we've gone to because we've been playing basically a different city every night. So it's a lot of like bus, hotel, theater, bus, hotel, theater, repeat, repeat, repeat. So allegedly in the future, we'll be maybe staying in cities for a few days, and that would maybe be more appealing like long term, because it's quite tiring going from city to city every day. But I love it. It's so fun. I would do it forever. But if I one day had a show that was just in one city for several months, I would jump at that chance as well. But right now, this is yeah, it's been really great, and especially with just coming kind of as the pandemic is sort of calming down, and being able to go out and have things open up a bit more. Like, it's just been a great opportunity. So we're hoping to eventually have longer stretches in cities, but the traveling's fun. It's great.
That's good. I mean, fingers crossed for more showings, because we kind of either want it to come to the UK or we want to, I don't know, like row to America at this rate for a chance to see it. It just sounds like it would be absolutely amazing. And I suppose touching on your possible history of Scooby-Doo or not, prior to being cast in the show, did you watch much Scooby-Doo growing up, or and if so, did you have like a favorite show or movie?
I did watch the cartoon a lot. And I definitely watched the movies, the ones with Sarah Michelle Gellar and Freddie Prinze Jr. And my main Scooby-Doo history that I feel like you'll be interested in is this is what my lunchbox looked like when I was in high school.
Oh,
Oh,
I have props.
that's amazing.
Yes. And this isn't the original though, I have to say, but this is what it looked like, exactly what it looked like. And when I was cast in the show in 2019, my boyfriend gave me this for Christmas. And so I bring it with me to rehearsals, and I haven't actually brought it on tour because I don't know, I didn't want to lose it or break it or whatever, but it's every time we would have lunch at rehearsals, I would always bring my lunch in this. So that kind of felt full circle. You know, I had that as my lunchbox when I was a teenager, and then later to be cast in the show felt kind of like it was meant to be, you know?
Wow, that is just amazing. I can't believe that. That's fantastic. Thanks so much for preparing that. I wish that I'd got like something around me that I could just. That's fantastic. And I guess, and this is something that I always find somewhat funny to ask. And of course, you know, like you mentioned, we've spoken to a few cast members of the show, either through watching the cartoons growing up or being in the show yourself. Did you ever get a favorite member of Mystery Inc.?
Well, I mean, everybody loves Scooby, you know? You gotta love Scooby. And I think I don't know. I mean, I can't, this might be a little bit taboo to say, but I can't actually say that Daphne was my favorite. But I think through this process, I've gotten to know her character a lot more. And I have a whole new appreciation for her, especially how she's evolved over the years and become way more involved in the mystery solving. And she went from the damsel in distress to then becoming, you know, she's got a black belt in karate, and she's more of a strong, independent woman. And so I have a deeper appreciation for her now. And I would say she's my favorite character now. But when I was a kid, I think I was a big fan of Scooby, you know, the talking dog and whatnot. Yeah.
And I think you're right as well that Daphne's character certainly adapted throughout the years, but also in terms of the people that voice the character, they've kind of really followed along a path. So the person that voices Daphne now, DeLisle, they were previously mentored by the Daphne prior to that, which was Mary Kay. And so following that progression, like I say, there was some kind of relationship, there was some kind of knowledge there. You've already played Daphne. Would you ever be interested in, say, voicing Daphne in the next cartoon adaptation after Grey?
I would love to. I would love to be the voice of a cartoon. I feel like that would be so fun. Yeah, I think that would be really, really great. And it would be so cool to be mentored by those people who did the original voice of her. I found she actually has kind of a hard voice to emulate because it's not incredibly recognizable, but it does have a specific quality about it. And so anyways, I do my best. If ever you come see it, I do my best.
I mean, I think from what you said, voice acting would also fit really well with you. You know how you're saying like part of what you like about being on stage is kind of how you can, say, project your voice more. You can do movements that are more prominent as opposed to keeping everything quite small. A lot of the voice actors we've spoken to are really expressive when they're doing their lines and speaking in a certain way that just seems to resonate really well with a lot of what you were saying before about what you're enjoying. So I feel like that would be such a good fit.
Yeah, I think that would be so fun. I feel like, you know, doing different voices and different accents and different sounds, and that would be something that I would like to try eventually. I've auditioned for a lot of cartoons, but I haven't gotten it yet. So maybe one day I'll
Well,
let you know.
we certainly would love to see it if you did. And speaking of projects and kind of getting casting in the process, how did you come to be cast in Scooby-Doo and the Lost City of Gold?
Okay. So you want the whole story? Okay, I'll give it quick.
Thank you.
So I was playing Mary Poppins, and my boyfriend came from England. He moved here, and he went to school in England at the Oxford School of Drama. And he came to see Mary Poppins, and he said, you have this show ready. You should invite agents to come and see it. And I didn't know anything about that, so we just invited some agents that were in town, and one of them came, and I ended up being lucky enough to be part of her agency. And so then through having this agent, Lisa Muser is her name, she ended up giving me the auditions like for the Storybook Christmas, and then eventually for Scooby-Doo and the Lost City of Gold. And so the first audition was, I just had to send a couple of videos of me singing. So I sang a couple different songs, a couple different styles, one like a couple musical theater, and one me playing and singing, playing the guitar. And I sent those off. And then a week or so later, I was asked to do a callback audition. So again, it was a video, and this time it was to record a scene from the show and sing "Follow the Stars" and do the Scooby-Doo. And so made this little video, send it off, and then a week or two later, they asked me to come in person. And so this is very exciting, This is like every time I'm so excited. And that was November of 2019, which is so long ago. The pandemic has just made time seem, everything's so stretched out. But that was November of 2019. And so I went in person, and they had me, I was in there, I think for an hour. I was playing the ukulele, playing the guitar, singing in English, singing in French, doing scenes from the show. The choreographer was there. He taught me a dance. We did the dance together. And immediately I remember leaving and saying, I think the choreographer is my new best friend, because we had, it's always so intimidating going into an audition, but him and I did the dance just together, and it was so fun, and he made me feel so relaxed, and we just had the best time. And then from there, a couple of weeks later, they told my agent that they wanted me to play Daphne, and then she called me and told me, and I was actually at my job at the time when she called me and told me, and I just started screaming on the phone, and everybody was like, "Oh, you're pregnant!" And I was like, "No, no, I'm going on tour." And so then that was November, early December of 2019, and so then I gave my 2 weeks notice at my job, and in January I started organizing my life to basically go away for what I thought was going to be a year, and obviously we know what happened afterwards. But anyways, so that's how I originally got involved with the show.
Wow, that is such a good story. And like you say, it kind of didn't go down the route that it was initially expected to, and things happened, but it is so great to kind of see that we're at the point now, like you say, where things are beginning to calm down again, and we're getting to finally see the live show, which we're so excited to hopefully get to see. So like you were saying about the audition process, what was the process like afterwards to prepare for the role a little further? So for example, I know you said you watched some of the cartoons and things growing up. Did you revisit any of the live action movies preparing for the role?
Definitely watched. We even watched them together as a cast in early 2020, like while we had rehearsals. We watched most of the movies. We would, especially the people who came from out of town, like there was me coming from Ottawa to Montreal, Brian Kling came from Toronto, and Justin LaPena came from Vancouver. So we would spend a lot of time together in our accommodations, wearing matching hotel robes and watching the Scooby-Doo cartoon. And so we definitely watched a lot of a lot of that material just to get the feel for their iconic movements and for and trying our best to emulate the voice. And yeah, so that we for sure were consulting the original material often, even still.
Oh wow, like you said, you went back and you watched because you wanted to get the movements, the voice, everything down. And you know, you play Daphne and she's such a core member of the gang. And did you feel a lot of pressure portraying a character with such a pre-established fandom?
I think there is, yeah, people, and well, there's such a big following for Scooby-Doo, right? It's cross-generational. People know it, like you know, our parents know it and little kids know it now, like it's been around for so long. And there is a certain expectation that each character will sound a certain way or look a certain way or have the, you know, whatever the poses are. And so I really wanted to do my best to be true to that, to represent the character that people grew up watching. And but yeah, then I think there's also a letting go and accepting that you are going to bring something different as each person who's played these characters in the live action film brought to those roles, because we're all different, we're all individuals. So there's you do the best you can, and you study it, and you do that work, and then you also bring something that's your own to it as well, which makes it unique.
Oh wow, I know we definitely can't wait to see your adaptation. Like hopefully one day it'll either come to England or we'll just get on a plane somehow and come over to see it, because I can't wait to, like, and I know JayBee and Malik, they can't either, to see your unique twist on Daphne, because there's been so many people who have played Daphne, from Heather North to Sarah Michelle Gellar, as you mentioned, and you know, they all brought their individual little twists to her. And did you ever try to reach out to one of the Daphne alumni for any advice?
You know, I never did. I should have. Do you think they would have answered me?
I think,
Yeah.
No, do you think it's too late? Maybe I could still do it.
I think you should still do it.
Okay. I will. But if you do come to the show, whether it's in England or whether it's in the States, definitely send us a message, because we'll have to meet you afterwards, or, you know, take a picture or bring you backstage or whatever it may be. Just, I know you've been interviewing lots of the cast, so.
Yeah, that'd be amazing. I'll make like a group chat to like to harass
Yeah.
everyone in due course.
Of course.
Thank you.
So I guess reversing that question a little bit, there's a new web series that's been premiering, and it sees Jessica Chancellor step into the role of Daphne. And now that you've done quite a few Daphne performances to your name, and sorry, my brain just, like, words came out and I didn't know what was happening. So given that you have quite a few Daphne performances to your name now, do you have any advice for someone who's about to play Daphne or who wants to in the future?
I guess I would say probably to look into where she started within the gang, the danger prone Daphne era, and then learn about her growth and development throughout the years, and try to incorporate bits and bobs from that whole time, and not just necessarily sticking to the way she was in the beginning, but trying to have, like, show that evolution, and definitely practicing the poses. You know, she's got to have her poses. And yeah, those would be my bits of advice.
That's very good. And I guess speaking about like the wider Daphne verse now, like we've spoken a bit about Sarah Michelle Gellar, and here's kind of an interesting thing. Obviously, doing my due diligence on your Instagram, I don't know how long ago now, you posted an old photo, and there were like a couple of comments that were kind of drawing parallels between that photo and Sarah Michelle Gellar. Was that something that ever crossed your mind when playing Daphne, or was there ever anything that even dawned upon you until those comments?
No, I never ever received that celebrity lookalike comment before in my life. That was my first headshot, and no, I never, nobody ever said that to me. So that was, and it's, when you look at yourself, you don't think you look like someone, you just think you look like you. So I never thought I looked like Sarah Michelle Gellar. But that's quite a nice thing to say, though, because she's quite beautiful. Just a coincidence, really.
Hmm. And I suppose digging deeper into the live show, I still remember when the album was released. I had such like a nice day listening to it all while doing the ironing. It's just so many iconic songs. But do you have a personal favorite from the album at all?
Okay, I have a lot of favorites for a lot of different reasons, but probably my most favorite is Margareta MIA, which is the Act 1 finale. And for when you see the show, it's the last song in Act 1, and there's just the way that it, with the drums, and we're all singing, and the lights, and it's just this like really epic moment where we all stop and we turn and we sing in this straight line, and it's just like, it's so epic. Everybody loves it. That's my favorite song for sure.
It sounds like it's just such a great time to be involved in that production. Do you have maybe either a singular memory or a particular set of memories that stand out to you as being the most memorable, or I guess like special to you?
Yeah, it is really fun. It's so fun. We have such a great time. And one kind of fun little memory and ongoing joke is that at several theaters or different places we've been asked to sign posters or sign the wall of the theater with there's some really talented artists in the cast, so they draw a big Scooby-Doo and then we all sign our name and our character name next to it. And I just was on this really bad streak of misspelling Daphne. I kept missing the N, just like being quick and kind of, so it always D-A-P-H-E, D-A-P-H-E, and I kept doing this. And so it became this ongoing joke. And so then everybody started saying that if ever you make a mistake or if you drop something or you do something clumsy, it would be called a dafe. So then everybody would say, oh, you dafed that or you dafed this. And then on the end of the second leg, I have another prop. The whole cast signed a poster saying with their way of spelling dafe.
Oh my gosh. That's actually amazing.
Yeah, so that's kind of one fun little memory and memento that I have is that, now the term for when you make a mistake is a dafe, because I only 3 times misspelled my character name on a wall.
I mean, I wouldn't feel too bad about that at all. Like in the bonus features of the Daphne and Velma movie, they managed to spell Daphne's name wrong and they left it in the bonus features. So it is by no means the biggest like Daphne mistake that's been made.
Really? Oh my gosh, I'm going to tell everybody that then. See? It's a hard name to spell right.
I think they spell it with a Y on the end.
Like Daphne.
Yeah.
No. Okay. I'm going to tell everybody. I'm going to tell everybody that I'm not the only person who misspelled it. Thank you for that.
It's just so good to hear. Like, it sounds like you all had so much fun, not just on the stage, but that was a great memory from behind the scenes as well. And I think it translates through because everyone that we've spoken to had such a positive reaction to seeing the show. I've not heard a single bad thing to be said about it. So what's your, reaction to how positive the response has been to the show?
Oh, I mean, it's so great because it was hard to know really what would be the response, especially because we started this process over 2 years ago, and it felt like we were in rehearsal, and in this like limbo of keeping the show in a rehearsal phase, and we didn't have an audience for so long. So, and the audience is really the last piece of the puzzle to add into the live show. And so in January, when we were doing the rehearsals and really running the show, and it started to feel like it was more ready to be on the stage and actually be received by people, and then to have that final piece come in, be the audience, and to hear them respond. I remember when we were rehearsing and I would think, what's going to be in this long silent moment. And then when we did the show, it was like people will be applauding, like, or, you know, laughing, or there'd be some kind of reaction. And so that was just really emotional as well, because of such a long stretch of not being able to perform and the show being put on hold, having that, and especially because the reaction has been so positive from everyone, it's been really emotional and wonderful, because we all have such a great time performing it, and it's so special now that people seeing it also really like it as well.
I really love how you've explained that, because it's also making me wish I was at the first show, because I imagine, like you were saying, after going
You
so
can time
long
travel.
without hearing that it would have been such a special moment to be there, like getting that first audience reaction. But what are you looking forward to most about performing again?
I miss the songs, I miss the dances, I miss the people. It's yeah, I the whole process is so fun. Like, you know, we when you get into the dressing room and we've all got our little, you put on your makeup, and then we got the music going, and it's like it's this like ramping up to then get on the stage. And yeah, I can't wait. I actually really love the show. I love the music, and it's so fun to actually perform. And yeah, I guess I'm just looking forward to doing it with in a different state, in a different area. And it's going to be like 40 degrees Celsius.
Oh gosh.
That'll be interesting. But yeah, I think that's it. I'm just really it's been several weeks since we've done it, so I start to just miss the show. I miss the music, and I miss doing it.
Just from hearing you talk about it, like I'm even more excited. Like, even though we're not seeing it, just knowing that you all care so much about the show, and it obviously radiates in your performance. So where can people purchase tickets to go to the show? I'm so sorry. I'm like,
Oh, that's okay. You can buy tickets at ScoobyLiveTour.com and maybe other places, but I think that's the only one I know. ScoobyLiveTour.com.
I do think that's the official one, so we'll make sure there is a link to that in the description below, so people can go and get tickets.
as you may know, we really want the show to come to England. Do you know about any possible updates about you touring England at all?
I honestly, right now, I know nothing. And if I did, I would totally tell you. But we don't have any information about what's happening beyond Texas. So hopefully we'll learn maybe about some new possibilities this week. But right now we have this week, and that's it. So I will let you know for sure, but I don't have any spoilers or any inside information. I wish I did.
Thank you so much. And my final question before I pass it on to JayBee and Millie to wrap up the video, do you have any social medias that you wish to shout out?
I mean, I have like just my regular little Instagram. It's not, I don't even know if it's worth shouting it out, but if you want to follow, it's just, my handle is just at Samantha De Benedet, all one word, no capitals. And when we're on tour, I usually post a lot of stuff in my stories about the different places we go in the theaters, and yeah, there's usually something to see there.
That's great. We'll put that in the description below as well, because I'm sure people would love to stay up to date with upcoming projects and things like that after Scooby as well. So we will put that in the description below, and like we say, the link to get tickets as well.
Yeah, so thank you so much for taking the time to speak with us today, and additionally thank you so much for setting up the props as well, because they were just so fun to see.
Oh, I loved
just
seeing the poster. That was so amazing, because
Yeah,
it's
no
so
problem.
refreshing to hear that there's still like more behind the scenes stories that we hadn't heard yet. Like you say, we've spoken to a few people, and it's still amazing to be hearing new things.
Oh yeah, no problem. My pleasure.
And I guess, like, for everyone watching this, thank you so much for sticking around for another interview. And we really do appreciate all of the positive comments as well. Please do keep them coming and let us know what you're enjoying about them in particular. So yeah, please like, comment, and subscribe. You can find all of Rhianna's social links in the description down below as well. So yeah, please like, comment, subscribe, and we'll see you next time.